255-7299 in the Latham C. Alexander Jr. Collection.
God gave the wise men their wisdom, and to the poet his dream, to mother and father their love for each other, but he left me out, so it seemed. I went around broken hearted, thinking life was an empty affair, but when God gave me you, it was then that I knew he had given me more than my share.
Hello, it is that time again. It's Thursday already. It's Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and if you are listening, you have found us. You have found us, and we're so glad you have. We're on RadioNext.tv, the cool groove, and I'm just so glad to be back every week. You know, about 2 hours ago, my voice sounded absolutely terrible, and it sounds better.
Now it sounds
I just
great.
sound like I'm singing in a smoky bar, which I do a lot of. I used to do a lot of that, but I'm not doing that these days. There's not too many smoky bars out there. And my wonderful co-host, Renee Gates.
Hello. Hello,
Are you
everyone.
here too?
Yes, I am.
It is Thursday.
Yeah.
I cannot
Do I have
believe it's
this
Thursday.
smoky bar voice?
You do sing a little, don't you? But you don't. I've heard you on your Facebook.
You heard me a tad bit. You could see I could carry a little bit of a melody.
Song, I know. It was actually really funny. She didn't do the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Not yet.
Donated, right?
Yes.
Which I don't think you have to do.
No, you don't.
No. We are really, we're really silly, Sybil. Sybil Satterfield is our guest today.
Hi, Sybil.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I sound like I've been in smoky bars as well, but
It's
I'm not contagious. I'm not contagious though.
Smoky bar is.
Smoky bar, yeah. We're kind of always a little nutty, and I don't know that it really gets any better. Other than we do every week. We have somebody that shares a very important, relevant message, which happens to be Radio Next's whole mission is that, or what is that, their purpose, their mission statement, every message is relevant.
Yes.
And Sybil Satterfield has a wonderful message. And she did come in bearing gifts.
I know.
Isn't that cool?
I was excited.
It's Sybil Brand Affairs. You know what? We are going to talk about that. I do want to make sure everybody knows there are some really wonderful things that Radio Next is starting to be out there, and you might see us a number of places. Chocolate Blues, which is coming up here in what is it? I am so silly. October 9th. It's a Thursday. After we do our show here, we'll run over to Chocolate Blues, and we're one of the premier sponsors.
Yes.
And we'll be there. And then we have a big event I'm really excited about on September 7th at Bar Rio.
Yes.
Which I am...
Singing, yes. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, George Middleton of Radio Next. He has his own show on Mondays, but he's an awesome keyboard player. He and I will be out there doing some music, but it's also a networking opportunity, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about Radio Next and all the people that are playing a part in Radio Next and all the wonderful things, so many things that are happening. And we just can't forget all these things.
Nope.
Can't. Oh, we also do have a little bit farther north in Noblesville.
Oh, yeah.
On the 11th of September, we'll be taking part in the Meals on Wheels Dan's Fish Fry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be out there at Harbor Manor Lodge. And I have an address, and I will find it before we're done today. But that is Thursday, September 11th. Oh, I do have it. Dan's Fish Fry. And the reason I'm always promoting all these things, obviously Radio Next is going to be awesome, but I'm also getting to sing. So, little
Nice.
ulterior motive. But from 4 to 7 on September 11th, we'll be out there. And if you've never been to a Dan's Fish Fry, you need to go to a Dan's Fish Fry. And all the proceeds go to Meals on Wheels. And you can check that out. I think you probably go to mealsonwheels.org, I think.
Yep, you should be able to.
Yeah. But we thank you very much for catching us today. And Sybil's like, well, are we ever going to get to me? Yes, we are. No, she's not doing that. She's a wonderful woman who has a great story. And Sybil, you already talked on here, didn't you? Say hello again.
Good morning, good afternoon, hello.
Yes, we're glad you're here. She's in a beautiful purple shirt, which makes her skin and everything look beautiful, obviously. If you don't know Sybil, I'm so sorry. Sybil.
I've been called worse.
I love that name. I love that name.
Thank you.
Sybil Satterfield, and with Sybil Brand Affairs. But tell us a little bit, Sybil, about you.
Okay.
Can you share a little bit of wherever you
Yes, I can. I'll start with where I am right now.
Okay.
I am and I don't mind saying my age, I am a 52-year-old mother of 2, a grandmother of 4,
Oh, wow.
and an entrepreneur, small business owner. I created Sybil Brand Affairs back in 97 or so, when I wasn't feeling so happy with my corporate experience. And I came from, and I'll say this too, if you hear the drawl in my voice, it's because I'm from the South, so I have a drawl, y'all. A mother who had an entrepreneurial spirit, and the bug has been passed on to me. And so I initially started Sybil Brand Affairs actually as a branding company, or logo design and branding company for small businesses, and event planning as well. As is with most entrepreneurs, we kind of evolve into who we're really going to become as time goes by. But in the process of just doing life, I learned that I suffered with major clinical depression. And that diagnosis came when I was about 42 years old, about 10 years ago. And I got the diagnosis the first time I attempted suicide. Now, this plays into the story because after that, I obviously, well, maybe not so obviously, I lost my job. And I had to figure out ways to manage mental health naturally. And so I started researching everything I could about herbs and, mood and all those kinds of things. And that's really where I started to become a creator of natural bath and body products. So Sybil Brand Affairs has created a natural bath and body line called An Epiphany. And it's spelled like a woman's name, Annie, A-N-N-I-E, whose last name is Epiphany, if that's a name. But
yeah, it's a great name. It's great. I read it a few times and I was like, oh, I get it. But yeah, if you just say it, it makes more sense than when you read it. It's like, oh yeah, but that's cool. I didn't say that right. It's cool no matter what, but it really sounds good. It's great.
Thank you.
Yes. So you came up with that when you actually had an epiphany.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's a food-based, earth-based, I will say, bath and body care line, in that most of the products are made from food, but some of them are not. But that does not mean you cannot ingest them. Even though nothing is created to be eaten, it all could be ingested without hurt or harm to the person ingesting it.
That's awesome. Actually, I think that's maybe a good place to say, because there is a lot to Sybil's story that she's touched on.
Right.
And we always kind of like to give you an overview in the first segment so you get a chance to say, oh, so she's going to talk about. There's a lot to talk about, if you don't mind, that we take what you said and we're going to kind of start, and we're going to take a break.
Excel academically, socially, economically, and professionally. With the right support system, these individuals can continue to be productive citizens of the community. Martin University would like to be their support system. We offer a variety of bachelor's of science and bachelor's of art degrees, as well as 2 master's degree programs in community psychology and urban ministry studies. Check us out online at www.martin.edu. We're located at 2170 Avondale Plaza, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46218, or call us at 317-543-3235. We're waiting to help you achieve your goal.
Welcome back. We are here at Radio Next, the Jennifer to the Rescue show. Jennifer Johnson here. I'm your lyrical appreciation expert. And I guess I just always feel like what I do is connect my listeners or my clients with great people, great products, great services, great causes. Definitely through RadioNext.tv. We're really happy that you found us here on the Cool Group. And I am here. Renee, you are here. Just let them know you are here.
I'm here.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, I'm Renee Gates with Elite Coordinators.
Okay, okay, she's here anyway. I just want you to know she's in the house. But our guest today is Sybil Satterfield.
I'm here.
With Sybil Brand Affairs and Annie Piffany. And they have to go. Do you have a, I was trying to look and see, did you have a website or do you have what's the best place for them?
I have.
For our listeners?
Yes, I have a Facebook fan page. That's SB Annie Epiphany. And I also have a Facebook group, an Annie Epiphany Facebook group. And no, I do not try to sell you Annie Epiphany products every 5 seconds.
Well, we're going to, you know what? And they probably need to know. I mean, I see it in front of me here, and I know Renee and I have both been talking about, we get these little goodie bags that Sybil has brought us. But you do need to, can you spell, because it's Annie.
Yes, it's ANNIE, P as in Papa, H as in hotel. No, I don't know how to spell. It's P as in Papa, I as in India, P as in Papa, H as in hotel, A as in Alpha, N as in November, and Y as in Yankee. Epiphany.
It's really cool when you say it and then you realize what this is all about. It's very cool. I think you have a very creative name. But if they went on Facebook and just tried to find Sybil Satterfield, they could do that too.
Yes.
And then that would take them to, I'm learning all this stuff.
Yes.
It takes you there. But, before the break with Sybil, we were talking, she kind of gave us an overview. You did give us an overview of how this has all come to be, and you started now. And why don't we go back to what you kind of touched on, but what was I started reading your story last night. I did read it.
Yes.
It was very entertaining. You're a good writer. It's also a very interesting story, but can you take us back to
yes.
the beginning?
Yes, I can.
As much as you know?
Yes. And this part of the story I think is important for reasons you will see at the end, because I think it's the story of a lot of people, and some people like me don't know what's going on with them. But my story begins with my earliest memories of cognizance and self-awareness when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I was asking my mother how to spell my middle name. And she spelled it out for me, and I remember sitting on a step and, spelling my name. And I remember my sisters and brothers being outside playing and having fun, and I was in the house trying to learn how to write my name. One of my next earliest memories was in the 2nd grade, when back in the days, when I guess dinosaurs still roamed the earth, teachers used to use film strip projectors. And the teacher was giving us a lesson.
I don't remember dinosaurs.
I don't either.
Do you remember film strips? You're silly. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Tell your story.
Yes. So the teacher had to read the caption under the picture as part of the lesson. And now remember my teacher not being able to read one of the words in the caption. And I thought to myself, well, she's not very smart if she doesn't know that word. I know that word. But as I went on through my academic career, I had difficulty, hard time staying connected, staying engaged, staying involved. School was very boring for me. I got to the 12th grade and I dropped out because it was just so boring. But before that, I had an issue where when at the age of 12, at the onset of menses, I started having crying spells also. And they got progressively worse as time went on. To just kind of fast forward you through that story and to make the point really clear, it wasn't until I attempted suicide the first time that I had a psychological evaluation. And the psychiatrist or the psychologist said, well, Miss Satterfield, you're very bright. And I was like, duh. I've been hearing this all my life, so tell me something I don't know. And what he did say was, he said, your IQ is in the top 3% of the population. That made a lot of sense to me because I could compare myself to the people at the bottom 3% of that bell curve and say, okay, you are not normal. For me, it wasn't a case of, oh, you're so bright, you're so. It began to make sense for me then because I realized as I learned about my disease that there are a lot of people who suffer with mental illnesses, major clinical depression in particular, who have extreme brightness, and they don't know why they're never really able to connect. Because you see the world through completely different lenses, and people look at you like, really? So the diagnosis helped me to make sense of things, and it helped me to realize why I didn't fit in corporate America, why things come out of my mouth because I have no brain to mouth filter.
Oh, is that
Mine too.
No, we're making it's.
You're in the top.
Yeah,
you're in the
yeah.
top 5%.
Continue, Sybil.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but you know, so no, I understand a lot of people. You know, those kinds of things help them to make sense of it. So, you know, I just was really able to put myself in the perspective that I need to put myself to understand how to more fully function as a human being. And as I began to research ways to what I call manage the disease, I learned about herbs. I learned about, you know, teas and, you know, just things, foods that are really good for managing the mood. I, being also the 13th of 14 children, learned at a very early age how to serve. When all of your brothers and sisters are older than you, everybody's the boss of you. So you learn early how to serve.
And we were kind of talking about that. That's not really what I would think. I mean, I think generally people would think if you're the youngest, we were talking about the youngest is going to actually be the one who gets spoiled. But in your case, that really wasn't. And that's probably really true. Maybe that's true. Maybe that spoiled thing works for about 3 or 4 children, but when you're talking about 13 children, maybe that's a little bit different.
It actually worked for my youngest one, my baby brother. Yeah, he's the spoiled one.
And if he's listening, he just heard it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that really wasn't, it was, you became a servant. You
Yes.
had to.
Yes.
You did that just because you had to.
Yes. Yes. And so, I started out kind of doing this thing with having little spa parties with my sisters, and I would mix up, sugar scrubs, and we get together, and, I was always doing their feet, giving them pedicures and all that kind of good thing. And they'd say, oh, you need to sell this, you need to sell this, you need to sell this. And I never thought about really selling this because it was too much fun and I didn't want it to be work. So for a long time, this just was a way for me to do Christmas presents, a way to, just have fun doing it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until the fourth and the last time that I attempted suicide that I had, I guess, the epiphany, because in that attempt, I had what some people understand and what I understand to be a deliverance experience. And it was just the most unusual thing I'd ever experienced in my life, where I was drunk out of my mind on these sleeping pills, because I had taken a whole bottle of sleeping pills, trying to take my life. And as I was sitting in crisis, or laying in crisis stabilization, I don't know if I was sitting or laying, but I could see this scene in my mind's eye where my life was in two halves, and my life slowly began to come back together and be joined as one whole piece. And so it was like, in that experience, I came to know myself as someone who no longer suffered with depression. And that was 10 years ago. And from that day to this one, I have been disease, medication, and symptom-free. But I have had to maintain good mental health, and I do that with food. One of the easiest ways to do it, especially this time of year, is with something called a seasonal cleanse. I try to clean the body out every time the season changes, because one of the things I hated most when I was suffering with disease was this time of year. The autumn time of year was like a prison that I could not describe. I hated September, October, and November, like, I don't know. But my mood would just go so down so far that the only thing I did in the winter months, the fall and the winter, was waited for spring to come.
Really?
Yes.
That's an interesting, because I think a lot of people at this time of year are kind of feeling, it's the, actually maybe that's not true. It's exciting because there's good things. Kids are back to school, parents are, in football, and all that kind of stuff. I think we're going to have to take a break here pretty quick, but so you're not leaving.
Okay.
Sybil. I'm just trying to keep everybody with us to know that Sybil's got more of her story to share with us. Renee, are you doing any selfies yet?
Nope, but I will be.
You're really quiet today.
I am.
But you know what?
I was just listening to her story because it's so interesting. I mean, how do you interrupt?
How many, maybe women, but maybe other, maybe women and men are sitting out there thinking, that's me.
Good for you, only externally.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Sugar is good at. Well, I'll put it to you like this, because I love to cook. Okay, and so one of the things that I love to cook is fried chicken. I make the world's absolute best fried chicken.
I don't eat fried chicken.
No, she's a vegan.
Right. But I'll say this to make the point. When I before I fry my chicken, I do something called brine it. Brine, B-R-I-N-E, and I use sugar and salt to brine the chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Because salt helps to keep the moisture, but sugar actually helps to break down the proteins in the skin, so it actually makes your skin softer when you use it externally, like in a sugar scrub or something of that nature. Internally, of course, we know that refined foods just aren't the best thing for us. And there's something in the culinary world, dietary world, called the white plague, and that is white sugar, white salt, and white flour. Refined foods in general are not good for you. And so that's why well, maybe I haven't even explained why, is because when sugar is refined, all the nutrition is taken out of it. When salt is refined, all the nutrition is taken out of it. And most people don't think of salt as having nutrition in it. We think of it just being a flavor enhancer. But unrefined salt has about 80 trace minerals in it that the body needs to help it function optimally. And most of the time we might understand sugar having color if we think of molasses, because when sugar is refined, what they take out is the molasses, so to speak. And so molasses is usually dark, and it has a lot of nutrition in it. So usually what I understand is that cravings for sweets are signs of thirst. You're probably thirsty more than just wanting something sweet. So I'd say to anybody, hey, before you get the candy, drink some water.
I did. She does have a bottle of water.
I did. Maybe I just have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, that too.
You don't come in here I know you, and we don't do a radio show every day, but I do see you otherwise. You don't seem to be like always eating sweets or anything, so it must have just been something.
Yeah, it was. It was just, I don't know, I think, and I'm not sure, but I think a combination of things make you crave it. And I don't know if it's just water, but maybe if I ate too much of something, I need to level it out or something with the sweet. Something sweet. I don't know. I just believe that.
Yeah, and because if you didn't hear me say that, Renee Bates is a vegan.
Yep, I am a vegan.
No, she's a vegan. I thought that was kind of an interesting connection between what Sybil's talking about and being the vegan, but we can talk about that more, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, because it's come up a few times with the vegan over so many months we've been doing the show, just that different things are, this is definitely an interesting, because you did a lot of research before you became a vegan.
Yes,
right?
I did. Yes, and then more afterwards.
To make sure you're getting the nutrition.
Oh, yeah, because I used to work out every day, like 2 hours a day. And when I became vegan, that's such a drastic diet change and working out. I was next to nothing in weight. So I had to figure out.
Anyway.
And I was smaller than that when I when I didn't alter my workout schedule. So I had to learn how to alter that. Then I had to learn, on top of that, I had to learn how to shop, and where to shop and where to eat, when you're extremely hungry and you can't, make it home, what restaurants cook with this oil and not, put your food in the chicken batter and, just stuff like that. So, but it changed my skin. It changed...
which is exactly...
Yeah.
Very
it
cool.
changed everything. It changed my skin. It changed my... I had a lot more energy.
Which is interesting because honestly, I just don't know. I don't know the sources of protein, I guess, that are supposed to give... Or what?
Beans.
It's beans, but it's... Okay. So it changed a lot and you're now got more energy because you're ingesting things that are probably naturally better for you. So there is a reason we're going through all this.
Yep.
I think that what you ingest and what you use on your skin and what you use for, I'm sure there's really the connection is right there.
Oh yeah.
So I know we kind of went off on, but not really, because what you're doing is really what Sybil's doing on the outside. Maybe.
It is.
It really
is.
Right?
Because, yes.
I'll let you experts talk.
No, well, because when I do a spa party, and a spa party is part workshop, I talk to, the ladies and gentlemen about the fact that your skin absorbs whatever you put on it. So by default, you're eating it. You're eating whatever you put on your skin. And so you have to be careful about, say if you are vegan, what kinds of products you're applying to your skin, because you don't want animal byproducts. Slow it down, Sybil. Because you are absorbing those things directly into your system. A lot of us think that, when you eat certain things, that the digestive system, is going to fix some things that may not necessarily be right by default because of the bacteria in the mouth and the gut and that kind of thing, which is, to a great degree true, but you don't have that process when you put things on the skin. So processing everything that you use on the body, whether you are eating it, masticating, or whether you're just applying it topically, is really important when you talk about optimal health, which just kind of leads to optimal beauty, because she's a very beautiful person. Renee is very attractive facially, and all of that kind of good stuff.
I'm just sitting here kind of crawling under a rock.
No. And that's not just saying that you...
No. I actually, that is one thing I would say about a lot of the women here at Radio Nest. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful women. They're doing something right, but Sybil, you fit right in. But you have but that's really nice. Mm-hmm. Obviously, what you're doing internally, Renee.
Oh, and I do facial. I make sure I moisturize. I use SPF in the morning. I have a night. It's not just one thing. It's not just eating. It's things on just how you take care of your body. Exercise. I mean, it's all of them that make it.
I was not that I want to backtrack. And Sybil, you look like you're going to say something. Did you have because I had a thought that I wanted to kind of go back to briefly.
Let's go back to it.
Well, the interesting thing, if you think about it, I'm sitting here looking at these beautiful women, and I'm thinking, you're always thinking, well, to do all this, you've got to have money to be able to afford it. But I remember your story, Sybil, really goes back to the fact that you were downsized, right?
Yes.
I kind of remember this story. No, we didn't talk about it that long ago, but I'm just saying, the story is, though, that you were downsized and you had no health insurance.
Correct.
And you had to look for natural ways to take care of things.
Correct.
Which kind of, right?
Yes.
I mean, you were smiling when I'm saying that, so I think that's kind of like hope for all of us, that even you don't have to have a lot of money to necessarily do the good things for yourself. And
you don't. As a matter of fact, a part of what Sybil Brand Affairs wants to do is reach out to underserved populations who don't have a lot of money, to teach them about food-based beauty. Because one of the things we want to do is introduce them to the idea of eating food they don't necessarily look at as something that's palatable. Another population that we want to reach out to, and we're actually now in the process of partnering with Outreach Inc. They service homeless teenagers, to work with them to help them understand ways that they, in their current circumstance, can learn about food-based beauty. And I call it food-based beauty, but it's actually food-based living. For instance, let's just imagine I'm homeless, okay, and my food dollar is very limited. Well, the same thing that you use to brush your teeth with, you should be able to use to wash your hair with, to wash your laundry with. Baking soda. It's one of those all-purpose food products that has so many uses that if I only had, I don't know how much baking soda costs in a box now, but if I only had 99 cents to buy baking soda, then I have my toothpaste, I have my hair wash, I have something to clean the tub with, and something to wash my clothes with. It's not expensive until you go to the spa. Then it gets very expensive. Most of what food-based beauty is spa beauty, but they charge you a whole lot more for it in the spa. Things like fig facials or moisturizers that we put on at night, olive oil, almond oil, those kinds of things. They charge so much for them. and it's a whole lot cheaper. Depending on the population I'm dealing with, and one of the target populations is the SNAP benefit population, I might call it something different, but with them I call it SNAP Beauty, because you can do this with your Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, and you won't necessarily be taking food out of your children's mouths to say, okay, I need to figure out what to do to make my hair and my skin look better, to make me feel better. It's very inexpensive when you do it at home yourself. Very inexpensive.
That's what your spa parties are about, and the whole Sybil brand affairs. We were talking about when the whole hour started, and we were talking, it's just, you have such a wonderful story and a wonderful cause and wonderful products, and it's like food-based beauty. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Food-based beauty.
Yes.
I'll tell you the truth, food has never been my friend. So it's really kind of cool when you say food-based beauty, because you put together something I don't really... No, I like food. I just tend to... I don't know. It's just kind of one of those
Well, that's
things.
gone back with cucumbers, putting it on your eyes. And then you could put it in your water and then drink it.
But
or put it on your salad. I mean, it's just those things that you can just.
I feel like this is such an interesting. Well, no, you're talking about baking soda being your toothpaste.
Yes.
Your hair.
Yes.
And what else did you say? You're washing your clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've got this little thing of baking soda. Where does baking soda come from?
Baking soda is a mineral. It's sodium bicarbonate, and it's a salt. Really, is what it is. And because I don't have the information in front of you, I can't give you the whole chemical specification on it. But it has an alkalizing effect on the body, and so. This is what most people don't understand. It's the basic reason that most of us have disease in our body is because we're not alkaline anymore. Most of us are more acidic than we need to be. And so the signs of aging that we manifest are really signs of toxicity. So something like baking soda that can help alkalize the body will help make the skin look more youthful because it diminishes the wrinkles. By taking away the toxins that are in your skin. Baking soda is it's amazing. I love the way my hair feels when I wash my hair with it. And baking soda is good for any type of hair from, the 1A to the 4C, if you know what those hair types are about. It's good for any type of hair. And like I said, it's very inexpensive.
That is really cool.
So is that just baking soda and water?
Yes. Just baking soda and water.
You know what? And we've got, because, like I said at the top of our interview this afternoon, I guess the top, we were making comments that Sybil had brought in all these goodies, and we'll tell you more about those when we come back. They can go to Facebook and look up Sybil Satterfield.
Yes.
And find you that way. And we're going to, and tell us again, because the line that you have is Annie Epiphany.
Yes.
Can you spell it one more time before we take a break, and then we'll make sure we get there again?
Yes, that's spelled A-N-N-I-E, Annie, like Annie, go get your gun. Or who's the other little redhead girl? Annie, what, you know the redhead girl I'm talking about.
Yeah, some will come out tomorrow.
Yes, that little Annie. Annie like her.
Called Annie.
Yes.
God gave the wise men their wisdom, and to the poet his dream.
You're leaning into the mic.
I got too much stuff. There's so much going on here. Radio Next. So much going on. This is Jennifer to the rescue. You have found us on RadioNext.tv, and I'm here on the Cool Groove every Thursday with my wonderful co-host, Renee. Her name is Renee Gates. She's giving me that look again. You know what? You had something you were going to share, though, a while ago, and you didn't. But now has the sugar kicked in?
Yes, it has.
And I know the sugar's good for that.
Yeah, you got to break up the debate.
And this is when Renee starts climbing and hanging on the ceiling tiles. We'll know why sugar's not good internally. But what you said, you had something going on. What's going on with the Elite Coordinator?
What's going on? I am giving 15% off of invitations. Any type of invitations, not just weddings. So
you do a lot of weddings, and
yes,
that's
I
a
do.
big part of what you're doing right now.
Yes.
You do all life's events.
Exactly.
See, I've learned to tag.
That's good.
But if they go to your website, which would be what?
Elite Coordinators Inc.com, and go to services. There's a link to the invitations, or they can just go to elitecoordinatorsinc.com/Carlson Craft. Just go to my website.
Just get to your website.
Yeah,
really. Just
go
get
to my
your
website.
and
Yes.
they can find
Or they
the
can.
information. And
I'm on
Elite
Facebook.
Coordinators, you're just doing a lot of stuff. You're always on Facebook.
Yes, I am.
What?
Educating my viewers and my clients on a daily basis.
But you are really behind, because by now usually you've taken some pictures of us.
I know. I
think we've been so enthralled by Sybil's
the next
story.
break will be pictures.
We will have pictures.
Well,
on Facebook.
I couldn't take pictures because I was, Sybil and I were debating about something.
We've got some debating. But
no time for pictures when you're debating. No time.
The negative, no, there's no negative.
No.
Really exciting.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Fun stuff that we're learning. And it kind of goes along with a lot of the stuff we've always known is true. Mm-hmm. It's food-based beauty. I mean, what you put inside you or on your skin is really kind of the same thing.
Absolutely.
You were talking, Sybil, about a lot of things. We had made a couple. Well, you told me a story the other day. Mm-hmm. Can we just jump to the big story?
Yes.
It's an interesting story because...
Yes.
And we were talking before, the beauty doesn't have to cost you a lot.
Correct.
And so you were, okay, go ahead, take that and run.
Well, I guess the first thing I think I should say at this point is I have to give you full disclosure that I am a Christian, so a lot of things that I say come from that perspective. And this comes from that perspective. I was having an issue in my mouth with a non-healing sore, and I had been doing several things over the course of time to try to work with it. Some things would help me to see improvement, and then it would not get better. And sometimes because I did not feel any symptoms of the sore being in my mouth, I'd just forget about it. So all that being said, the sore had been in my mouth for years, off and on. And it was just before Mother's Day of this year. The sore started giving me an issue again, and something that I had been using to help me I did not have. It was actually an Anti-Epiphany product, but I didn't have all the ingredients together, so I started looking for something else. And this Saturday night before Mother's Day, I just happened to have been reading the story of King Hezekiah in the Bible, who had a terminal illness. And he was about to die, and he prayed to God, and God heard his prayer and said, go see the prophet Elijah. He went to see Elijah, and Elijah told him to put a fig poultice on his boil. The boil was healed, and he lived for 15 more years. So I said, oh, goody, I have figs in the kitchen. Let's see what's going to happen. So I took a fig, cut it into 4 pieces, and put a piece in my mouth and slept with it all night between my cheek and gum, kind of like, I guess, dipping snuff, as they say. Mm-hmm. I did it the next day and the next day, and the experience was that initially I could tell something was happening. One of the first things that happened was it caused a bacterial bloom to manifest in my mouth. My cheeks and tongue and everything were covered with like a white thrush type of thing. But then after the 3rd or 4th day, I could see there was really more than one sore in my mouth. when I had only been seeing one sore for all those years. About the fourth night, I had a serious burn when I went to put this fig between my cheek and gum. It burned in my eye socket. It burned in my nasal cavity and in my jaw. It burned for about 20 minutes. And I had to pray. On the fifth day or sixth day, on that Friday, I had what they call a Herxheimer reaction. And that is basically one way of saying I had a healing crisis. It's when you get sick, when you're trying to heal yourself.
Sure.
And I got sick. The only thing I wanted to do was lay down. At the same time, I was taking pictures of this thing and sending them by Facebook to my sister in Virginia, and she said, "Sybil, please go to the hospital," because she saw certain death in my mouth. And I said, "No, you know how I feel about those places." So, full disclosure, I don't do hospitals and doctors. But by Saturday, I was okay. But on Friday, when I had that Herxheimer reaction, I went home because I had been doing things getting ready for an event. And I laid down because I said, well, if I die, I just want to die laying down. But I told my daughter, that's how bad I felt. I told my daughter, I said, her name is Dove. I said, bring me the charcoal mask and a bottle of water. And so I took about a half a teaspoon of the Anti-Epiphany charcoal mask in my mouth and swallowed it and chased it with some water. And about 10 minutes later, she said I was up and ready to go. And have been fine since. The sore is gone. Now, here I have to make a connection. I have to connect a couple of dots. Because I talked earlier about having made attempts at suicide. When you do that and you overdose on something toxic, they pump your stomach when they take you to the hospital, and then they gut load you with activated charcoal. The Anti-Epiphany charcoal mask is made with activated charcoal. So I knew what I was doing when I was taking that internally, even though it's not created for internal consumption. It has the ability to absorb hundreds of times its weight in toxic material. And so whatever was going on inside of me that day, just a little of it took care of it, and I was ready to go. I learned, of course, about this after the fact and how, charcoal has that ability to absorb toxins. So it's, really one of those things where, I should say, too, when you're doing food-based bath and body, I have to remind people constantly that the only thing I make and sell is cosmetics, even though there's something called a nutraceutical, because the FDA tells me I can't make claims that this charcoal mask has medicinal value or healing value. It only has cosmetic value. So even though I used it medicinally, I don't sell it for that purpose. It's purely cosmetic. However you use it is up to you, though. I'll just put that out there for you. But so learning how food works is really, really, really been enlightening for me. And I've learned that, things as simple as the toothache, Ambisol.
Yeah.
That's a food-based product. And I'm going to dig in my purse as I say this, because I have been in different places and somebody said, oh, my tooth hurts, or I have a toothache. Do you have a Tylenol, or do you have... And I say, no, I don't have any of that. And then I reach in this big old bag of mine and I pull out something like this, right? Cloves. Whole cloves.
Pulled out a bag or a jar of cloves. Okay, we're listening. Tell us about these cloves.
So if you ever have used Ambisol, Ambisol smells like that. Ambisol smells like that because Ambisol is made with the essence of cloves.
Really?
It has.
I've never had Ambisol.
You've had. Well, you're a blessed woman. You've never had a toothache, have you?
I've tried Ambisol. It doesn't usually work.
Well, I have had people come back and say, "Oh, it took away the pain." I use this as a breath freshener. because I used to do a lot of fasting, and I needed to figure out something that I could use while I was fasting. So cloves became the breath freshener for me. A lot of food and earth-based products have analgesic property where they will take away pain. And this is one of those things.
Okay, wait, do you actually just put the cloves right in your mouth?
Yeah. Just put it in your mouth, and your saliva will make it soft. And every now and then you pinch it between your teeth, and you feel the burn from it, so to speak. But the freshness, it makes your breath very fresh, very fresh.
Man,
there are other options that you can use, like fennel seed, if cloves are a little too hot for you.
Let me try one of those.
Fennel is a great breath freshener.
Okay.
Does it matter which brand?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
I'm scared.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So you give people cloves and then they like what?
Yeah. Well, if they have a toothache, they say, "Oh, it worked." If they need fresh breath, it works.
This is what I was hoping I was going to get out of
like
this
eggnog and stuff like. Is that cloves? What do they put in
on
okay.
you see those little things, the spiky things in the ham.
So just this.
Yes.
Just
and it's a little woody feeling. It's it's wood. Yes.
It stinks.
I think we're going to take a short break. We are not done with Sybil, though.
I'm scared.
Oh, she's putting it in her mouth. Right? Is putting the cloves in her.
She's scared.
This is actually really cool, though. This is what I was hoping we would be doing, is learning all these.
Lounge, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good music, thought-provoking conversation to assess and challenge our current ways of thinking on issues important to our way of life at the Therapy Lounge.
We are back. We were just listening to George Middleton. I think you all got to hear him too. Jennifer to the rescue.
The
Jennifer
wonderful
Johnson.
sounds.
Oh, we're going to be out at George Middleton and Radio Next, and myself, and hopefully a lot of you will be out at Bar Rio on Sunday, September 7th.
Yay!
With Radio Next, Jennifer to the rescue, George Middleton, as you just heard, keyboard extraordinaire, and I'm going to try to sing a little bit with him. What do you think?
I would love that.
You know what? We put it out on Facebook, and there's a lot of people coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's free.
What time?
It's free. It's from 6 to 10.
Okay.
6 to 10, and basically, if you want any more information, you could certainly contact me. Go to info@JenniferToTheRescue, or go to radionext.tv. There's a flyer up there. So we're really excited about that.
Yep.
And also, we are sponsors of the Chocolate Blues, which is October 9th. You can go to the website, radionext.tv, and it's on there. Chocolate Blues. It's very exciting. I think we're going to be doing some of Jennifer to the Rescue that day.
Yay!
On location. On October 9th. And we are still...
Oh, where's Chocolate Blues?
Oh, that's right.
Location.
Chocolate Blues is at the... it's at the Primos on the south side.
Okay.
Is there an address for the Primos? I think... Oh, yeah, there is. It's... Okay, there isn't. Oh, yes, there is. It's 2615 National Avenue.
From 1 to 7.
1 to 7,
Okay.
yes. And you don't have to stay there the whole day, but you'll definitely want to come in and check in with Radio Next. Make sure we know who you are so we can get you on our Facebook and all that good stuff.
Yep.
And you know what? You want to be on this train or this love boat, as Jumbo Love always says on Saturday mornings. So we've got some more to talk to Sybil Satterfield about with Sybil Brand Affairs and Annie Epiphany. Annie Epiphany, we have had so many conversations off on our breaks. They've kind of gone off. That's what's so cool about this opportunity and this platform, is to carry on the conversation
And they need to find out what happened to me after I ate the clover.
Yes, but it wasn't.
That's what I want to talk about.
Sybil, correct. It wasn't clover.
Oh.
It was cloves.
I'm sorry,
There's a-
cloves. Yes.
Yes.
I'm just so messed up after the clove. I'm going
You know
crazy.
what? You did say, and Sybil told us
Yeah.
it would burn your mouth a little bit. You breathed.
That was after I put it in my
Yeah,
mouth.
but your breath was good.
Was it? I blew it on it.
It was. Yes, we did say that on the air, Sybil.
It made my tongue numb.
Yeah, but it did.
It burnt a little. And
It makes people think about Christmas. A holiday.
when is Christmas again? Is that what you
Sybil, I'm not going to argue about the clothes. We do have something else to talk about before we're done, and we don't have a lot of time. So, Sybil, tell us about Annie Epiphany. Was kind of started in 2008. It was
Yes.
an off.
Yes, it was initially just a hobby effort, that my daughter and I were engaging in, and she wanted to take the product line, full board, and so we were having a branding session one day for what she could possibly call the product line, and I just happened to talk about how natural bath and body is a very bright idea. And I happen to also be the queen of puns. And yes, and I know that, and I happen to use the word Annie-Epiphany, or the term Annie-Epiphany, like you have a bright idea. And so the outgrowth of that naturally was to turn Annie into a woman's name, and of course continue on with the Epiphany part. So she took the brand name for a little while, and then when she moved away and didn't take the brand any further, I took the brand back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kept the name. I retweaked the logo a little bit, and have started moving the product name and the product line forward as Annie Epiphany. So when you get onto Facebook, you may see two Annie Epiphanies, but the SB Annie Epiphany is me. The other Annie Epiphany is pink and brown. That was my daughter's, and that's just kind of out there.
But they could also find you at Sybil Satterfield
Yes.
there as well. I'm just saying, if somebody were like, okay, what's her name again?
Yes.
But Annie Epiphany
Yes.
is pretty darn cool where it came from. That's
Yes.
really neat.
Thank you.
And the tagline is the bright idea, natural bath and body. That is cool.
Yeah.
And it was a bright idea. So did we dare go into the conversation we were having? They're going to both put on their boxing
About, oh, yeah.
Well, I think this is very important for so many reasons, because we're all sitting here drinking bottled water. And we're drinking bottled water for a very good reason, because we believe tap water is not necessarily good to drink.
She thought this through.
I drink tap water.
You drink unfiltered tap water?
I drink that water from the faucet. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Is that considered unfiltered tap water?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
But that is where, okay, go ahead.
yeah, so here's the little,
I'm the exception to
the education
You
that
are
I
the
get
exception to all the rules. Go ahead.
on tap water is that citizens utility gets their water from sewage and from the White River, and we all think the White River water is not the best water to drink. They bring it to the water treatment system, and they treat it with things like bentonite clay and activated charcoal to purify it, to get all the nasties out of it. And then before they send it through the pipes to your house, they have to put chemicals in it to keep it clean while it's on its way to your house, which we know one of those chemicals is chlorine. Okay. So what a lot of people don't know is that in transit to your house, that chlorine reacts with other organic matter and creates new toxins. And I'll tell you what some of those new toxins are, or one of those new toxins might be. No, this is not the right one.
Uh-oh.
This is not the right one. I have another card that's very similar to that has it on there.
Okay.
But these toxins are known to do things like cause depletion in your bone density. They're known to cause respiratory problems. A lot of them are considered carcinogens. The other thing that we know is in most of the tap water that we drink is fluoride. And fluoride is just a byproduct of the fertilizer industry. So when they get finished making fertilizer, this leftover stuff, they turn it into something that they say is really good for your teeth. Now here comes the question, if fluoride is good for your teeth, does that mean it's also good for you to sit in it when you take a bath or when you take a shower, right? Research suggests that when you take a shower, you absorb between 0.1 and 0.3 liters of water through the skin. And that includes all the toxins that are in the water. Not only that, if you like to take nice, hot, steamy showers, that vapor goes out throughout your house and causes pollution inside the house. So the way to avoid that is to take a bath. And you say, well, Sybil, aren't I going to just sit and stew in all these chemicals now? Well, if you just take a bath, normally you would. But if you do what the water treatment company does and add a little bit of bentonite clay to your water. Jeez.
The face that we
Yes.
set up for you, pretty excited.
Yes. I'm not saying that. Well, okay, so now here's how I make the connection to clay in people's minds.
Okay.
And I'm going back to the Bible for this. You might know the story of Naaman the leper. Of course, he had leprosy.
Right.
And he went to the prophet who said, go bathe in the muddy Jordan 7 times. And he said, ew, I'm not going to do that. He sounded like Renee. He said, that water's dirty. Can't you find a clean river for me to bathe in? He wasn't going to do it. So his servant girl said, well, if he had asked you to do something hard, you would have done it. And he said, well, yeah, you might be right. So I'll go and take these 7 baths. He did, and the Bible says after he was done taking these 7 baths that he had the skin of a youth. The leprosy was gone, but his skin was even more improved than that. What the Bible doesn't readily point out is that it also adjusted his attitude, because he had a pretty stanky attitude on the front end.
It was on stank.
Now, you're not making any comments.
No. I'm referring to mine, because I know how bathing in clay has adjusted my attitude. I used to be a very kind of person, and now I'm a little more relaxed and not so catty. That might be the way to put it. But the clay will take the toxins out of the water, as well as take toxins away from you and your body, and they won't be redeposited, because clay is adsorbent and absorbent, which means it acts like a magnet to attract and then acts like a sponge to hold. So you're not going to be sitting in your own cesspool. All that stuff will go down the drain, and I don't know, after about 3 months, you will look 10 years younger, if that's possible.
I know, she looks pretty young.
Yeah, if that's possible. So
I'm talking about Renee.
But I was told after I had been bathing.
I'm 3 after this clay bath.
Well, so sorry.
Yeah, no, really it does. So that's how clay works, and that's the reason why I tell women it's a good idea to trade in the shower for the tub, because the shower is toxic and you can detoxify the tub water.
And we're going to... We're just about done today. I cannot believe how quickly these shows go, especially when we have somebody like Sybil on.
I know.
All these kind of started out, we were real quiet and we were listening, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Then she gave me a clove.
She gave you... You know what, Renee? Sybil Satterfield is our guest today with Sybil Brand Affairs and Annie Epiphany, and we obviously have a lot of things, and there's wonderful products that Annie Epiphany, bath and body, food, brand beauty.
Yes,
Food-based. Based beauty. But what was your question? You had a question. How are you going to ask that question?
Oh, man. How will I ask that question? It was about the clay and the bath and the blood flow and men.
Yes. Okay, those
are bullet points.
This is our already comment of the day. Tell us.
Real quickly, food-based beauty, bath, and body is good for men as well. And one of the core products of Annie Epiphany is calcium bentonite clay. And calcium bentonite clay is very good for purifying the blood and for enhancing blood flow. And for people who are suffering with issues related to blood flow, bathing in clay is a good idea. And for people who are resistant to sitting in the tub, a 20-minute foot soak.
She got that in there too.
And calcium bentonite clay is good for making the blood move. 20 minutes because it takes 15 minutes for the blood to cycle through the entire body. So you want to keep your foot in a clay soak for at least 20 minutes.
I can't wait.
Is it a detox too?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it does.
So that's detox. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So men, yes, can benefit from clay.
Wow.
That wasn't my question, though.
That wasn't your question?
No. I just wanted everyone to know that wasn't my question.
Do you have a question?
It was sent in. I know.
We've got to make sure that everybody knows how to find Sybil.
Yes.
And go ahead. Tell them the best way.
The best way is to find me on Facebook at Annie Epiphany, SB, Annie Epiphany. I don't know what that whole address line is, but if you look for Annie Epiphany on Facebook, you'll find me. You can contact me by email at sybilbrandaffairs@gmail.com. You can call me if you like at 317-426-8530. You can send me a text at that number also. I don't know, if you're outside in the parking lot when I leave here, you can catch me then as well.
We are so glad to have you.
I'm silly.
We're being instructed. We have to cut it off. So we're done. I cannot believe we ran out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Sybil Satterfield.
It was fun.
Thank